You rarely know how rare gold is. Gold is finite on Earth, and for every practical purpose, we cannot make more of it. That's not a technological limitation. It's a boundary set by physics. Everything we use gold for today, money, electronics, medicine, modern technology, depends on a supply that does not regenerate. Once gold is mined and dispersed, it's effectively gone. Here's what that scarcity actually looks like. All the gold humans have ever mined in history would fit into a single cube about 22 meters on each side. In volume terms, that's only a few Olympic-size swimming pools. That's the entire global supply. Not per year, not per country. Total. Gold feels abundant because it's everywhere in our culture, but physically, it's one of the most limited materials civilization depends on. And here's the part most people never hear. Earth did not make that gold. The sun didn't make it either. To understand why gold is so rare, and why it's never coming back once it's gone, we have to leave Earth entirely. To understand why gold is so rare, we need to understand how nature actually makes elements in the first place. Most of the elements around us are forged inside stars. Hydrogen fuses into helium, helium into carbon, and heavier elements form as stars burn hotter and longer. But that process has a hard stop. It ends at iron. Up to iron, fusion releases energy. Beyond iron, fusion consumes energy instead of producing it. And stars cannot sustain reactions that drain more energy than they generate. That's not a technological limitation, it's a fundamental law of physics. This means ordinary stars, including our Sun, are physically incapable of making gold. No amount of time, no increase in temperature, no larger star. Gold sits beyond the natural production line of the universe. So if stars can't make it and planets can't make it, then gold must come from something far more extreme. Something violent enough to force atomic nuclei together against the rules that normally stop them. That's where the story turns catastrophic. To create gold, the universe needs conditions far beyond anything found in normal stars. Gold is not built gradually. It forms in moments where matter is pushed past its natural limits. At the atomic level, making gold requires an overwhelming flood of neutrons. So many neutrons that atomic nuclei are forced to absorb them faster than they can decay. This process is called rapid neutron capture, or the R process. It does not occur in calm environments. It does not happen slowly, and it cannot be sustained. For the R process to occur, matter must be compressed, heated, and irradiated on a scale that briefly overwhelms the forces holding atoms apart. These conditions are so extreme that they exist only during catastrophic cosmic events. Events where entire stellar cores collapse or collide. Events measured not in years, but in fractions of a second. Most of the universe never experiences these conditions. Most galaxies never host them. Most planets will never contain their products. Gold exists because somewhere in the universe's history, matter was subjected to forces it was never meant to endure. And when those forces relaxed, something rare survived. The most reliable source of gold in the universe is not a star. It's the collision of two neutron stars. Neutron stars are the collapsed cores of massive stars that have already exploded. They are incredibly small, incredibly dense, and made almost entirely of neutrons. A single teaspoon of neutron star material would weigh billions of tons on Earth. When two of these objects spiral toward each other and collide, the conditions become extreme enough to trigger the R process at scale. In a fraction of a second, enormous quantities of neutrons are released, flooding surrounding matter and forcing atomic nuclei to rapidly grow heavier. This is where gold forms. Along with platinum, uranium and other heavy elements, gold is synthesized in the debris thrown into space during the collision. One such event can produce more gold than humanity has ever mined on Earth. But these collisions are extraordinarily rare. They require two massive stars to be born together, survive supernova explosions, and remain gravitationally bound for millions or billions of years. Only then do they collide, which means gold is not just rare because it's hard to find. It's rare because the universe almost never makes it. Neutron star collisions sound dramatic, but what matters most is how rarely they happen. In a galaxy like the Milky Way, these events may occur only once every tens of thousands of years. Some estimates push that number even higher. That means most generations of stars are born and die without ever contributing gold to their surroundings. Even when a neutron star collision does occur, the gold it creates is not evenly distributed. It's ejected in narrow jets and expanding clouds, spreading through space in a chaotic, uneven way. Entire star systems can form without receiving any of it. This is why gold is not just rare on Earth, it's rare across the universe. Some planets may contain none at all. Others may have traces locked deep in their cores, never accessible to life on the surface. Gold only becomes available when timing, location, and cosmic history align. When a planet forms close enough to ancient debris, but not so close that it's destroyed. Earth was lucky, not because gold was guaranteed, but because the solar system formed in a region already enriched by earlier cosmic violence. One such event can produce more gold than humanity has ever mined on Earth. But these collisions are extraordinarily rare. They require two massive stars to be born together, survive supernova explosions, and remain gravitationally bound for millions or billions of years. Only then do they collide, which means gold is not just rare because it's hard to find, it's rare because the universe almost never makes it. If gold is forged in rare cosmic catastrophes, the next question is obvious. How did any of it reach Earth at all? When the solar system was forming, it was built from a cloud of gas and dust already contaminated by earlier stellar explosions and neutron star debris. That material contained trace amounts of heavy elements, including gold. As Earth formed, gravity pulled the densest materials inward. Iron sank toward the core, and gold followed. This is why most of Earth's gold is not in the crust, but locked deep in the planet's core, far beyond any possible reach. The gold we mine today exists near the surface for one main reason. After Earth formed, the planet was bombarded by asteroids and meteorites. Some of those objects carried additional gold, depositing it into the crust. Even then, the amounts were small. Geological processes later concentrated that gold into veins and deposits, but they did not create it. They merely rearranged what little was already there. This means the gold accessible to civilization represents only a tiny fraction of what Earth contains, and an even smaller fraction of what the universe ever produced. At this point, a reasonable question comes up. If gold is so rare and so valuable, could we ever manufacture more of it ourselves? In theory, yes. In practice, no. Gold can only be created by changing the nucleus of an atom, not by chemistry, pressure, or heat. That means nuclear reactions. Scientists have successfully created tiny amounts of gold in laboratories, usually by bombarding heavier elements with particles in accelerators. But the cost is extreme. Producing even a microscopic amount of gold requires enormous energy, specialized facilities, and resources that vastly exceed the value of the gold produced. At industrial scale, it's not just impractical, it's impossible. Even future technology doesn't change that equation. You can't escape the energy cost imposed by nuclear physics, which means for civilization, gold is effectively non-renewable. Once it's mined, dispersed, and lost, it does not come back.